Good morning. So today we are going to start the sedimentary structures which are formed within the bed. This is the second lecture in sedimentary structures. In the first lecture we have discussed all those sedimentary structures which are formed at the top surface of the bed. Basically the ripple marks, the mud cracks, the rain prints and the salt pseudomorph. And in the last term we have described that how these sedimentary structures they are formed with the change in the flow regime. I am going to make the figure again because last time the figure was not very clear because of some problem in the camera. So if you just look at that, these are the sediments, and the sediments they are coming in contact with the fluid. They form the first bed form that is known as lower plane bed. They are horizontal. With further increase in velocity, the velocity is increasing in this direction. This is the surface, and the small scale ripple marks are formed. These are the small scale ripple marks. With further increase in the velocity, the large scale ripple marks are formed. With further increase in velocity, the ripple marks are formed which are three-dimensional in nature. Again, the ripple marks which are three-dimensional in nature, they are formed. So this is the small scale ripple marks. These are mega ripple marks or large scale ripple marks. These are two-dimensional and these are three-dimensional. With further increase in velocity, again the plane beds are formed. These are the plane beds of upper flow regime. And with further increase in velocity, the anti-dunes are formed. In the case of anti-dunes, these are the anti-dunes. The anti-dunes are in phase with the wave, whereas these dunes are out of phase with the wave. Means where we are having trough of the ripple marks, at that point there will be crest of the wave, and where we are having crest of the ripple mark, there will be trough of the wave. Whereas in the case of anti-dunes, the trough and crest of the anti-dune will coincide with the trough and crest of the ripple marks. So these are the ripple marks by this type of ripple marks, and the crest of the ripple mark that may be straight with increase in velocity, that may be sinus. With further increase in velocity, that may be catenary. With further increase in velocity, that may be linguoid. With further increase in velocity, that may be lunate. These are continuous, whereas these are isolated crest of the ripple marks. The ripple marks may be symmetrical, means formed by wave. The ripple marks may be asymmetrical, means they are formed by current. The ripple marks may be interference, means they are formed by both action, the action of the current as well as the action of the waves. They are also known as tadpole nest. And then the ripple marks are also sometimes they may be climbing ripple marks when there is enough suspended sediment and the angle of climb is greater than the toss side angle. In last lecture we have already discussed the anatomy of the ripple marks. Further, the ripple marks may be wave ripple marks and the ripple marks may be current ripple marks. The main difference between these two, wave ripple mark and current ripple mark, is that the wave ripple marks they are symmetrical, the current ripple marks they are asymmetrical. In the wave ripple marks the crest will be bifurcated, whereas in the current ripple marks there will be no bifurcation of the crust. The wave ripple marks are formed in very shallow water depth, whereas the current ripple marks they may be formed at the great depth also. the wave ripple marks, in the wave ripple marks, the crust will be maybe straight or the crust may be sinus, whereas in the current ripple marks the crust may be straight or that may be sinus or that may be isolated also. Further, the ripple marks may be formed by the wind action and the ripple marks may be formed by the water action. Generally, the size of the water action ripple marks are small, whereas the ripple marks which are formed by the Aeolian action, by the wind action, they are very large in size. Even the largest size of ripple marks or three-dimensional ripple marks are the dunes which are formed by the water action. They may not be larger in size than the 100 meter. Whereas those ripple marks which are formed by wind action or Aeolian action, they may be 500 meter, they may be 600 meter in length. It means if you are getting very large size dunes, they are formed by the Aeolian action only. Further, the ripple index, Ri, ripple index, is equal to the wavelength upon amplitude. Amplitude the height of ripple mass and lambda is the wavelength, the different distance between two crust or the distance between two trough. So in the case of current ripple mass, the ripple index is high, whereas in the case of wave ripple mass, the ripple index is low. So this is all about the revision of the sedimentary structures which are formed at the top surface of the bed. Mud cracks are also known as solar cracks. They are also known as desiccation cracks. They are also known as syneresis crack. They are generally pentagonal or hexagonal in shape. The rain prints and the salt pseudomorph we have already discussed in last term. So the sedimentary structures which are formed within the bed, because there are three parts of a bed: the bottom of a bed, this is the middle part or within the bed, and this is the top part of the bed. So we have discussed the sedimentary structure, physical sedimentary structures, or mechanical sedimentary structures, or primary sedimentary structures, or inorganic sedimentary structures which are found at the top surface of the bed. Today we are going to discuss the sedimentary structures which are primary, which are physical, which are inorganic, which are formed by the mechanical process, but which are formed within the bed. So, in the sedimentary structures which are formed within the bed are cross bedding, number one, then lenticular bedding, then flagellum bedding, then lenticular bedding, flagellum bedding, wavy bedding, then graded bedding, then hummocky cross bedding, then herringbone cross bedding. We will discuss one by one. Generally, the bedding means the strata. If the thickness is less than 1 centimeter, this bed is known as lamination. Generally, the bed or the strata are horizontal. Cross bedding means the beds are not horizontal. So if these are the beds, and there are certain beds which are not horizontal, but they are cross, they are inclined, then this is known as cross. Cross beddings are formed by the migration of the ripple marks. This is the ripple mark. This is the Strauss side. This is the lee side. This is the Strauss side. This is the lee side. This is the wavelength, and this is the amplitude or height. The segments they are transported or they move like this. And in this way, the four-set laminations are formed. These are formed. The inclinations are formed. The four-set laminations are formed. So cross bedding is the bedding in which certain inclined beds they are located between some horizontal beds. This is known as top set. This is known as bottom set, and this is known as fourth set. Generally, the fourth set laminations, they are inclined. This inclination is at angle of about 20 to 35 degrees. Why this inclination is only between 20 to 35 degree? Because the angle of repose, the stability angle for the sand which removes from this side and accumulates on the lee side is around 20 to 35 degree, and that's why the inclination of the fourth set lamination that varies from 20 to 35 degree. So there are basically are largely two types of cross bedding. Number one is tabular cross bedding, and second is trough cross bedding. If the bounding surfaces are parallel, horizontal, then that is known as tabular cross bedding. And if the bounding surfaces are curved, then that is known as trough cross bedding. The planar tabular cross bedding are again divided into two: the planar cross bedding and the tangential cross bedding. In the case of planar cross bedding, generally the four set laminations, they are inclined, or they make an angle with both top set as well as bottom set. Whereas in the case of second type of tabular cross bedding, that is the tangential cross bedding, the fourth set lamination, they make angle with the top set, whereas they are tangential to the fourth set. This is top set, fourth set, top set, top set, bottom set, and this one is fourth set, top set, bottom set, and the fourth set. So in the case of planar cross bedding, the fourth set laminations, they are angular to both top set as well as bottom set, whereas in the case of tangential cross bedding, the fourth set lamination, they are angular to the top set, whereas they are tangential to the bottom set. They are formed by the migration of the ripple marks. They are also formed by the migration of mega ripples, or they are formed by the ripples of large size which are two-dimensional in nature. But the trough cross bedding, in which the bounding surfaces are curved, they are like this. They are formed by the migration of the three-dimensional bed forms in the lower floor region, means they are formed by the sand dunes. So the trough cross bedding, they are formed by the migration of the three-dimensional bed forms. We have analyzed and we have discussed in our research paper, some of our research paper, that how this planar cross bedding and trough cross bedding, they are formed, by which type of bed forms, and what is the percentage of the trough cross bedding and the planar cross bedding in the point bar deposits, in the bread bar deposits, as well as in the lateral bar deposits. So the cross bedding is very important, especially the tangential cross bedding and the trough cross bedding. They are very important, and they are also used as a geopital structures, and they are also used as directional structures. Simply by measuring the azimuths of the four set laminations, we can calculate the paleocurrent direction of the depositional environment of the river which form that particular trough cross bedding or the planar cross bedding. So the cross beddings, they are very, very important sedimentary structures which are formed within the bed. Then the herringbone cross bedding. In the case of herringbone cross bedding, generally the direction of the four set laminations that changes. It happens in the tidal situation where the direction of the responsible process which forms the four-set laminations is changing, it keeps on changing from time to time, and that's why the four-set laminations, they suddenly reverse or change their direction. So herringbone crossbedding are typical characteristics of the tidal environment. Then the flager bedding, lenticular bedding, and the wavy bedding. Flager bedding, lenticular bedding, and the wavy bedding. If this red color is sand and white color is mud, then in the case of flager bedding, there is dominancy of sand, and in the sand we get lances of clay. Whereas in the case of lenticular bedding, the clay is dominant, and in the clay layers we get lances of sand. Whereas in the case of wavy bedding, we get both the layers of sand as well as the layers of clay, which are wavy in nature. Generally it is common or prevalent in deltaic environment. Then the hummocky crossbedding. Hummocky crossbedding. Hummocky crossbedding, they are formed like this is hummock and this is swelly. The hummocky crossbedding, the four-set laminations, they generally dip at an angle of less than 10 degrees. There is no definite direction for the four-set laminations. Some are dipping in this direction, some are dipping in this direction, some are dipping in this direction, some are dipping in this direction. Means the four-set laminations, their direction is continuously varying. They are very typical characteristics of the storm deposits, and they indicate the storm generated wave base. Storm generated wave base. What is wave base? Wave base is the first point into the ocean where the wave comes in contact with the ocean base. When storm comes, the wavelength as well as the amplitude of the wave increases, and therefore the wave base that shifts towards ocean. So that wave base which shift towards ocean and are formed during storm, they are known as storm generated wave base. I will discuss all these things in detail when we will discuss the sedimentary environments, the shallow sea, deep sea, delta, fluvial, all these things. So the hummocky crossbedding, they are very typical characteristics of the storm generated wave base. They indicate the storm generated wave base, and they are formed during storm only. They are also known as, hummocky crossbedding is also known as tempest tight beds, that I will discuss when we will discuss the deep sea environment and the shallow sea environment. Then the next crossbedding is the graded bedding. I have discussed about the transportation of sediments by three processes. Some processes are like this. This is mass movement, when the sediment transportation takes place by the action of gravity. Then by certain processes, by glacial, by fluvial, these are various processes, means fluid flow. Then the third transportation of the sediment is known as gravity flow. Gravity flow is very important. The gravity flow means it includes both the mass movement as well as fluid flow. For example, the turbidity currents, the debris flow. So the graded bedding, they are formed by the turbidity currents. And all those deposits which are formed by turbidity currents, they are known as turbidites. The turbidity currents are very common in, generally they are very common, they are common to every environment, but they are more pronounced in the deep sea as well as in lacustrine environment. Turbidity current means, that is also known as density current, sediment laden current, turbid current. There is enough sediment into that particular current. They form the graded bedding, means the coarser sediment they form at the base, successively finer at the top, means finest sediment at the top and the coarser sediment at the bottom is known as graded bedding. This sequence is also known as Bauma sequence, that we will discuss again in detail in deep sea environment. This is sometime also we can visualize the reverse graded bedding, in which we are getting the coarser sediment at the top and the finer sediments at the bottom. This is known as reverse graded bedding. All these things are very, very common. Sometimes what happens, that this is the cross bedding and one layer is deposited over this like this, it erodes. This is known as reactivation surface, means the very low angle beds which cuts the foreset laminations of the cross bedding, they are known as reactivation surfaces. Generally they are erodive surfaces. So these are the sedimentary structures which are formed within the bed, and all these sedimentary structures are very, very important in understanding the process of paleo process of the depositional environment. In next lecture of the sedimentary structure, we will discuss all those sedimentary structures which are formed at the bottom of the bed, and the secondary sedimentary structures and the biogenic sedimentary structure. Till then, you keep on revising the lectures. If there is any problem or any question or any query, you are most welcome. You may ask. Thank you and good wishes.